Hello, welcome to my Seaside Poppies video tutorial. I made this painting back before I was doing YouTube tutorials, but I decided to go ahead and add it to my tutorials because I think it's really a nice painting. It's part of a series of paintings that I did as home decor. Unfortunately, I took step-by-step photos, so this, rather than being a video on actual painting techniques, this is a video that shows step-by-step layering of paints to create my painting. I'll be adding a few more videos that are this same type. It's more of a photo journal of the process. I decided to create a series of paintings for my home as part of my home decor. And we had just completed our living room, and I wanted a nice painting to kind of brighten up the room. This is actually a room that we call our fish room. I did another painting that I'll be also showing in a video. This painting I decided to make sort of as an abstract poppy painting. I wanted to bring in a real pop of color using greens and reds to kind of tie in everything and brighten up the room. So I first bought a canvas and hung it on the wall to make sure that it was in fact the size that I wanted. I used a 30-inch by 48-inch canvas, and I was happy with the overall size on that particular wall. So that was my starting point. And from there, I have a series of photos that show each step. The second step of the painting was to use a brush to draw in the various landscape shapes. And I decided to have a hill right up in the foreground that would be where my poppies are. And then behind that would be a seascape going off into the distance, as well as a little bit of sand that could be seen in the painting. At this point, I didn't know how much design detail I wanted to add. I would decide that as I went along. For my third step, I added my dark areas. These would become the shadows of both the ocean and the foreground. And I used phthalo blue and some Payne's gray. I like to put my dark areas in first, and while it's maybe even still damp, then I start adding my lighter layers on top. The dark undertones create nice shadows, and in a water scene, it creates an illusion of deeper water. The fourth step was to start adding the lighter areas to the water, and also a little bit of lighter areas to the foreground. And I'm still using just various shades of blue, sometimes mixed with white. And the more colors that I add to water, the more movement I achieve, and I can get the areas of varying depth to the water. And at this point, I'm sticking to blue still for undertones, and a little bit of Payne's gray, lightened up quite a bit with white. And some of the colors, the same blues that I used in the ocean, I decided to use in the sand. I wanted the entire painting to tie together color-wise. Also, I used some gray tones in the sky as well as the sand because I have a gray couch and I wanted that to tie in with the couch. And in fact, when the painting was finished, it really matched the couch quite well. The next major step of my painting was to start adding more color to the foreground and also finish up the sand. I brought in some browns, various brown tones for both the sand and the upper hill. I added dark tones to the back using mostly burnt umber and some various golds and yellow tones and some reds. And this was to just be the base that I would later on add my poppies to. I wanted the entire painting to be less detailed than what I normally do and keep it to a bit of an abstract look. In this step, I have added the green to the upper hill area, and I'm starting to get more of a base in for the poppies. I'm starting to add dimension to the greenery on the hill, including shadows and highlights. This photo shows the painting almost finished. I placed it back on the wall so that I could see color-wise what maybe I still needed to do. This, of course, is before I added the poppies. one thing that I noticed is there was an area of the water that I wasn't quite happy with, and so I whited it out and then hung it back up and took a look at it, and that's the photo that you see now. Then in finishing the painting, I added my poppies after working some more on the greenery, and then I added the area to the white of the water and finished that. I actually left it hanging on my wall for probably a couple of months, still unsigned, because I wasn't decided if I was going to add any more detail. I had thought maybe I would go back and add more detail to the sand, but the more I looked at it, the more I realized that the poppies were really a nice focus, and the whole background set off the field of poppies as far as adding dimension and perspective and depth. And I finally decided that if I added more detail to the water or the sand, it may detract from the poppy field itself. So I decided to leave it as it is, and I've been very happy with it.